It's that time of the week. Sunday sit down, Francis Maxwell. So whilst you're just setting things up, ready to watch Sunday night football, you have me to talk to first about the Premier League, where I do my best to consolidate a weekend's action into around 5 or 6 minutes of conversation. I know what you're thinking to yourself, just as that guy said to Liam Neeson in Taken, good luck. So bear with me as I get to it. First game to talk about, Manchester City lose out to Spurs 2-0. Pep Guardiola's dream start has came to an end, and I'm going to touch on that and break it down into 5 takeaways that I had from this game. The first one is Glasgow Celtic. Oh, you're thinking, how do you make your way into this conversation? Well, they shined a little light. Oh, there's a little area of weakness there. We banged in 3 goals at home against the best team in England. Tottenham, what can you do? We took full advantage of that, mate, and that they did. 2-0 victory, exploiting some areas of weakness, which I'm going to touch on. So Celtic scored 3 goals, cross balls into the box, looking to try and spring forward in numbers to take advantage of an issue that I think Pep Guardiola will have to address sooner or later, is that once again, the makeshift defensive midfield partnership that Pellegrini put together, Fernandinho looked caught behind the play a few times today. I'm not saying that they need to go out and restructure things, but some areas of weakness. Dele Alli had a lot of room in between that area of the centre-back pairing and their defensive midfielders, and that's why Otamendi and Stones often caught out of position, didn't have enough protection, and then when Fernandinho was rushing back, look what happened. Gives away a clear-cut penalty, which Tottenham could not take advantage of, but I'll touch on that in a minute. So, some areas of weakness that was shown when Celtic managed to score 3 goals. They didn't beat them, don't get ahead of yourself, Francis. Tottenham took advantage of, and Dele Alli had one of his best games all season. I thought that they looked pretty comfortable in and around the box. So first thing there, areas of weakness come to fruition. Second thing, Koلاrov's the most one-footed footballer I think I've ever seen. He makes Arjen Robben look like a footballing gymnast with both feet. Like, he just cannot use his right foot. It's for standing on. That's it. He tries to clear it with his right foot, puts it into the back of his own net. Has to be addressed. If anyone's playing against Kolarov one-on-one, if he's playing at left back, take him inside every time, because when he has to put his weight on his right foot, he's immediately going to be a step behind, because he doesn't know how to adjust his position as well when his strong foot is not the one he can lean on and take advantage of. So some pointers there to take away if you're playing one-on-one against Kolarov. The third thing is Tottenham are absolutely fine without Harry Kane at the moment. Why? Because they have Son. Go on, my son! As I'm sure the Tottenham fans are screaming. Why does Lamela take that penalty? That's another question. Yeah, I know you want to get your name on the score sheet. You want to prove to everyone that Argentinians can all just be like Messi. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But he's a talented footballer. But Son has got 5 goals already this season, 3 shy of what he was able to accumulate in all of last year. Banging assists left, right and centre as well. Set up Ali for the second goal. Give him the penalty kick. Why are you taking it from him? It could have been costly if Manchester City managed to score from a couple of Aguero's chances. Suddenly things get a little rocky. You can't take anything for granted there. Son has to be taking that penalty. I know Kane, the usual penalty taker, is not there. Son's in a hot run of form. Give it to him. But anyway, Son has been playing so well. This is a guy that was almost ready to leave for 25 million in the summer. Pochettino showing great man management, keeping him there, giving him the freedom to play in positions that he wants to play in. And now he is reaping the rewards of that. So they'll be fine without him. With Eriksen, Dele Alli, Wanyama giving them that stability, acting, maybe challenging Conte's role last year as the world's best condom, just protecting everything around him. He is a force to be reckoned with. I'm very familiar with him with his time at Celtic, where he did a very good job doing the same thing and providing some goals up the other end, because he's great in the air and he's got a strike on him. So Tottenham look good at this point. I believe that takes us to number. So we had Celtic shining a light, Kolarov weak-footed, fine with that Harry Kane. Fourth thing, Manchester City without Kevin De Bruyne are not as scary. So they do have a lot of talent, but it seems like they fell into a ritual of playing with De Bruyne, so much so that when you take him out of this team, no one really knows how to connect when they have so much possession and are able to transfer it into Aguero's feet or anyone else around him. Aguero's dropping into positions a little deeper than he would like, taking shots from a little deeper than he'd have to. David Silva was almost enjoying his role deep again. It's almost like everyone's stepping back to try and take up the position that De Bruyne would do so well. And it seems like they got so comfortable and so happy with the way he was playing that without him, they're not as deadly, they're not as convincing going forward. No one's making his decisions as quick as Kevin De Bruyne. He makes decisions faster than anyone in the world when he has the ball at his feet. Sometimes not so much, I mean, he gets the ball and gives it. I mean, he knows what he's going to do. He's convinced himself that's the right pass. I'm going to make that. His decision making is undoubtedly his best asset. If you think otherwise, maybe you're saying his ginger hair, which is a good point. But I think that he is a hard player to lose early on in the season. Guardiola will adjust to make ends meet, but I think that Manchester City without Kevin De Bruyne are not as dangerous. Doesn't mean they're not scary. They've just went from like a Michael Myers in Halloween 5, where he's not scary anymore, instead of them being like Freddy Krueger on the very first Nightmare on Elm Street, which was petrifying, by the way. Still have nightmares of that. And the fifth and final thing, Pochettino proves that you don't have to go and continuously change things to make your team better. You can look at what you had last year, which they had the joint best defensive record in the league, two of the best centre-backs, I think, in the league last year, continuing their form, Vertonghen and Alderweireld, and a very youthful, exciting, but in a way experienced front line. Then that doesn't just consist of Harry Kane, but that's Dele Alli, that's Eriksen, that's Lamela when you want to use him. He went in and added out of necessity, which was Dembele's not always fit. Dyer sometimes drops back into play centre-back when they have to, so they needed another engine. They needed someone else in there to kind of work the coal mine and get everything pumping and get all the heartbeat going, everything else, all the other analogies you can fit in a breath. They did that with Wanyama, but they didn't go out and like showcase that they needed all these other strikers. You brought in Janssen, yes, but they rely on Dele Alli, they rely on Eriksen, they rely on Lamela, they rely on the attacking ability of their fullbacks. And he's just kind of given his team a boost of confidence by believing in them. And I think that that's a really crucial point to take into consideration. Seeing what happened with Leicester last year, Pochettino has learned that lesson. Togetherness is a huge factor that people often overlook. Buy all the players you want. Once again, Manchester United falls short against the worst informed team in the league in Stoke, because they bought in players to kind of help lift that team, and it will work to a certain extent. But if the team doesn't believe in everyone playing for the same reason, sometimes it's kind of just shouting up against a wall. And I think that Pochettino has proven that he's a good man manager and he believes in his team, and they are showing him back. We believe in you too, mate, because we're going to deliver against the best team in the league. So all credit goes to Tottenham, and that's my 5 takeaways from that. Just kind of wrapping up the other points in the Premier League, man. Arsenal leave it very late, and this could have been another hiccup, but as teams that want to fight for the Premier League show, is it's not always going to be pretty, especially up against a team that's going to prove to be a tough test. They left it late, and there was a Koscielny almost controversial finish, hit off his arm was down, who knows, but they kept plugging away, so I've got to give Arsenal credit for that, and they get the 3 points, which is crucial. Liverpool managed to get a 2-1 win despite going down 1-0 against Swansea, proving that they are serious about their efforts going forward. And it was a boring James Milner, who's now banged in consecutive goals, by the way, who's boring now, managed to bang in a penalty. It was probably the worst 5 seconds of defending I think I've ever seen that led up to the penalty kick. Swansea player tries to clear it, Russia block to the head, puts it up in the air with snow on it, comes back down, and then just tries to launch it clear and just volleys the back of Firmino's legs. If I was a Swansea manager, I'm sitting there, like, if he hasn't already lost all his hair, I'm thinking, what am I doing here? I'm about to pull my hair up. And then Liverpool are able to bang it in and leave with 3 points. Chelsea, up against a tough task as well, but they managed to pull it out in the second half. Diego Costa with a good goal, and Willian with a spectacular finish. And they win 2-0, back on track. So things are starting to work out as they should, apart from one team, Manchester United. Paul Pogba, I think, had probably his best game I've seen yet. Like, plenty of chances, hit the bar a few times, he was looking exciting going forward. But there's this sense of instability when teams counter-attack Manchester United. Like, if they got things shored up at the back, if they really is confident, they're changing positions, Valencia's playing full-back, then Blaine, like, it's not that I want to criticise Man United consistently. It's just like they had so many chances in that game, and you just sense it. There's so many chances to wrap up this game. So many attacking players coming on. Martial comes on, bangs in a beautiful goal. Rooney comes on off the bench. Rashford's there. Zlatan's there. They've just got so much attacking threat, and you think to yourself, something's not right here. Like all these positives, but they're 1-0 up, and it took like a misplaced pass from a Stoke defender to fall into Martial's feet to put it in, and I just had this sense of uneasiness, and I think Old Trafford did as well. And then when Stoke were able to get back in with the mighty Joe Allen, the Welsh Pirlo, brought them back into the game, Manchester United fans weren't happy. Each point you're falling behind, I think you're obviously they're delighted that Manchester City dropped points as well, but At this stage in the season, I think it's all about getting consistency, and I think it's all about making sure that you maintain yourself up there with the top teams in the Premier League. And that's 2 points dropped, and it has to be addressed. Zlatan had several chances. I think he has to do better. One-on-one, tries to go to the near post, keeper saves it. And I think that Manchester United now are Jose Mourinho again, questions asked early on, honeymoon period early. Things are starting to be brought up against a team that teams have been devouring. Teams have been destroying Stoke. And Manchester United struggling at home. So that is a question mark. But anyway, let us know what you think in the comment section below. As always, pleasure to chat with you. Francis_Maxwell on Twitter. Hit me up there. Francis Maxwell Host on Instagram. TYT Sports on it all. And we'll be back very, very soon. Thanks.